Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to check out Red7. It's a card game for 2 to 4 players for ages 9 and up, with the average playtime being about 5 to 10 minutes. So this is an extremely quick card game, but it's also a little confusing. I'll save that for later, but in Red7, basically your goal is to be winning at the end of your turn. If you are not winning at the end of your turn, then you are eliminated from that round. Sounds kind of weird, but let's just go ahead and take a quick look at the components and see how the game is played. Okay, so here's a quick look at your components and game setup. This is the front of the box here. And as far as the box insert goes, I think it's really cheap. It came damaged on top of that. I'm going to be getting rid of this at some point. I just think it's really poorly made. Anyway, box insert issues aside, here's the cards that were inside the box. Basically, you're going to shuffle the deck up and deal 7 cards to each player to form their starting hand. You'll also deal 1 face up to each player so they can start their palette. And then you're also going to start something called the canvas by finding this particular card. You are currently playing red, highest card wins. And this canvas card will determine what color is currently in play, and the different colors in this game have different rules to determine who is currently winning at that point in time. Inside the deck, there are cards of varying numbers and colors. You've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, and numbers 1 through 7. So there's red 1 through 7, orange 1 through 7, yellow 1 through 7, and etc. And again, this canvas card will determine what color is currently dominant at that point in time. According to the red color, for example, the highest card is currently winning. Whoever has, if the orange is showing, most of one number wins. Yellow, if yellow is showing here, most of one color wins. Green, most even card wins. Blue, most different colors wins. Indigo, most cards in a row wins. Violet, most cards below 4 wins. So this color is going to be constantly changing throughout the game, and players have to lay cards down into their individual palette in order to maintain themselves as the winner. If they do not become the winning player by the end of their turn, they automatically lose and they are eliminated from that round. Okay, so what can a player do on their turn? Well, they could do one of 4 things. They can play a card from their hand to their palette. So basically, they look through their hand, choose one, and put it on top of their palette like that. And they're going to try and do that in order to satisfy the conditions shown here, in order to be the best or the person winning at that point in time. If they are not winning by the end of their turn, they are eliminated. Now, these cards have a certain hierarchy about them. 7s are always bigger than 6s. 6s are always bigger than 5. So if you've got like a red 7 and an orange 6, the red 7 trumps that. If you've got a violet 4 and a green 3, the violet 4 wins out because 4 is higher than 3. In the case of a tie, like if you have a red 7 and an orange 7, the red wins out. So red is better than orange, better than yellow, better than green, better than blue, better than indigo, better than violet. And it goes down like that. And basically these colors serve to break ties in case both numbers are the same value. Again, a little confusing. It's a very quick game, but there's a little difficulty sometimes trying to understand how the colors and numbers work together. But anyway, getting back to what you can do on your turn. First thing you could do is play a card from your hand to your palette. So a player could do that. The second thing they can do is discard a card from their hand to the canvas to change the game color. So if you don't want this to be red anymore, let's say that you cannot satisfy the red condition by playing the high. Let's say someone else has the highest card in their palette, and there's nothing in your hand that you could possibly do to make yourself higher than them by the end of your turn. You could change the color possibly to change the rules of the game. So that's another thing you can do. Number 3, you could play a card from your hand to your palette and discard a card to the canvas. So you can do both. You could play one and then put a card to the canvas. You must be winning the new game's color after that occurs. And then finally, you can do nothing, pass. And if you do that, you're out of the game. Alright, so just to quickly show you what that might look like, I'm just going to go ahead and play a few turns. I don't know how well this is going to work because these are all random. Okay, so this is actually a good one here. He's going to go ahead and play a card into his palette. He's got the red 7. So the red 7 is probably one of the best cards in the game, because 7 is the highest value they can possibly get, and on top of that, it's the highest color. So this is the best card in the game. So there is nothing that this player could possibly play in order to trump that. So he's going to have to change the game color. Now he's got a 6 here. So, and that's a blue 6 from the looks of it, or indigo 6 rather. So he's going to have to try and change the color somehow to change the rules of the game, and hopefully he'll be winning after that occurs. He doesn't want to play a red card because highest card wins. Most different colors. So in this case, if he plays this onto the canvas, this person here has 2 different colors, whereas this one only has 1. So that may not be a good idea. Most of one number. So he could, well, he could do that. He could play a card to this. This is also a 6. Okay? And then he could play this most of one number here. So the most of one number changes that orange changes the rules of the game, and the player with the most of one number is currently winning. At the end of his turn, he is currently winning this game. So this player now has to change. He probably has to change the rules a bit, because if he puts down, he does have a 7, but I don't think he wouldn't be winning at that point in time because they'd be tied. So he'll probably have to change the rules again. Most cards in a row. That might actually work out. So we're going to go ahead and play most cards in a row. And then, oh wait, we have to play the card first and then to the canvas. So we'll do 5. We'll play the 5 here. So 5, 6, 7, for example. Then we'll play this. Most cards in a row. Okay? So now this player here, he is not going to be he's got a 5, 6, 7. He's got 2 6s. There's no way he could satisfy most cards in a row. So he's probably going to have to change the rules again to try and come out on top. And this will continue back and forth until one player can't satisfy the winning condition there and remain on top by the end of their turn. And at that point, whoever's remaining will win the game. Now, in the event of a tie, like let's say, and this is actually a good example that the manual gives. Let me just go ahead and quickly focus in on this. In this particular example, it says cards of one color, and I apologize if it's hard for you to read, but there's a yellow 2 and a yellow 6 here, and a green 4 and a green 1. Both have 2 cards of one color. However, when you compare the values and the colors, the numbers are compared first, and then if that doesn't work, then you compare the colors. The 6 is the highest card out of that 2 of a kind. 6 is greater than the 4 over here. So this player on the left is still winning. So in the event of ties, you have to check the number and then the colors. Now there's also some other stuff I didn't go over, like there's actually an advanced game, Advanced Red, and I'm not going to go over that in too much detail, but there are some icons on some of these cards, like on the odd numbered cards. You'll see a little hand with a card going down, then there's a little X here. Players can actually make use of these special symbols in order to do special things or to enable certain abilities as they play the game. The ultimate goal is still the same, but with these special abilities, you can sort of change the rules slightly. For example, this 7 here, choose a card from your palette and either discard it to the canvas or place it face down on top of the draw deck. If you discard it, you must be winning afterward. The 5, if you play that, play another card from your hand to your palette. You can still discard to the canvas after doing so. The 3 is draw a card from the draw deck, and etc. So the advanced rules aren't all that complicated, but they do change the way the game is played. But I would highly recommend that you stick with the core game until you get familiar with how the colors and the numbers operate. Okay, so there you have it, a very brief look at Red 7. It's important to stress that I did not cover all of the rules found in the manual. This was just to give you a general overview so that you could see how the game was played. As far as what I thought, and I have to keep this brief because I've got a delivery coming, but Red 7 is just, I think it's amazing. It packs so much of a punch for such a little card game. You'd think, with all of these suit colors and all of these numbers in play, and there's just so much to think about, you'd think it would take like 20 to 30 minutes to play, but no, it doesn't. Again, in the core game, you don't draw cards at the end of your turn. Now, I guess if you were to draw cards at the end of your turn to refresh your hand back up to 7, then the game could potentially last longer. And it might even be worth trying that, just to alter the rules and see if it actually works for your group. I haven't tried it personally, but it might work for you. So yeah, it's a great, neat little card game. If you like card games, then give this one a try. Just don't get frustrated at first because there is a slight learning curve. with how the colors and the numbers trump each other. Again, the numbers come first. A 6 is always higher than a 5, regardless of the color. 4 is always higher than 3. But if they're the same color, then you have to look at the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, and work your way down to see, what color is on top. So, yeah, Red7, go check it out. Pretty cool. If you guys want to see my written review, you can www.dadsgamingaddiction.com. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you can keep up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.